This is Coach Josh here from Training for Warriors Portland, and today I'm going to talk to you about something that's pretty important. It's breathing, something that we definitely do every day, and you would definitely know if you stopped doing it. But there are all kinds of different ways to breathe while you're training and while you're trying to do anything with your body. And I want to cover the three main kinds of breathing, the three general types of breathing that you'll use in the different stages of your workout or your training, and what they do to your body. This is something that I got asked a while back, and I wanted to get into the weeds a little bit on it. There's three main purposes that you want to select a breath for. And the first breath, the first kind of breathing I want to talk about is breathing for pure strength. And this is using your breath, breathing deep into your, between your diaphragm and your pelvic floor, expanding the obliques, so turning on your abs with your breath. It's filling up the sides of your sides of your body the way that you would see a cow or a horse breathe in through the sides underneath its rib cage. And you do that kind of breath when you're going to load the spine in an axial position, i.e., you're going to pick up something heavy off the ground like in a deadlift. You're going to have a barbell on your back in a squat, or you're going to press overhead, and trying to stabilize your spine with your breath. So breathing in that way, you're tilting the rib cage down towards the pelvic floor, tilting the pelvic floor back, so posteriorly tilting your hips back and creating a drum through the center of your body to stabilize and give you a little bit more power and force through your breath. You do that to keep your spine safe under load, so your abs are keeping your spine from bending while you've got a heavy load on your shoulders or in your hands. And that's not a kind of breath that you're going to use over a long period of time. That's something that you're going to do for 5 or 6 reps at the most, and that you're going to have a long rest period afterwards. We're going to breathe normally. So we don't breathe under load that way for very long, because that will create a breathing dysfunction. It's really easy to strain the diaphragm or do damage to yourself that way. So we only do that for a short period of time during a workout. And then most of training occurs in the second area, where you're trying to breathe for performance. So you're usually exhaling forcefully while you're in the concentric phase. So you're explosively moving into a push-up or a kettlebell swing. You're exhaling forcefully, inhaling in the eccentric. So you want to inhale when your tissue lengthens and exhale when your tissue shortens, because that's a natural pattern for the body to take. When I breathe out forcefully, everything wants to contract. And if I happen to be contracting my body with a kettlebell swing or bicep curl, then my contraction will have more force. So that's inhaling, exhaling every rep. So every rep gets an in-breath on the way down through a push-up, exhaling, forcing out the air, and for that example. Now, that's sustainable. I can do 15, 25, 35, 50 push-ups that way, because I need to breathe if I'm going to do 50 push-ups, and that breathing supports the activity that I'm participating in at that moment. So you want to choose the breath for the activity. So if I'm doing a max deadlift, I'm going to hold my breath and use my abs to create more strength. If I'm doing a lot of reps or anything where I'm not worried about blowing a disc or doing damage to myself because the load's so high, then I want to exhale on the concentric, inhale on the eccentric, or exhale with every rep. And the third kind of breathing that I'll do is a long, slow breath, a box breath, so to speak. It's something I would do to set up for a meditation, not during the meditation, but set up for the meditation. Box breathing relaxes you, and it makes you a little bit softer. It's great to stretch, because when the body has a long exhale, whenever you give yourself a long exhale, it signals to the nervous system to relax. When you relax your face and you breathe out in a long exhale, the tissue wants to lengthen and soften. So you can do a nice hamstring stretch when you exhale, or a lat stretch or a pec stretch, and supporting that relaxation with your breath makes your stretch that more effective. So you want to have a long box breath when you're doing a stretch, which would actually make it harder to do the high performance training that you want to do if you're actually trying to build muscle. So when you're relaxing the tissue, you want to have a relaxing breath. When you're strengthening the tissue, you want to have a strong breath. let's get into the weeds a little bit. How do I know when I want to use the pure strength breath for the long-term performance? Well, if you're ever trying to pick up something or take care of an activity, so if I'm going to walk over to a 50-pound bag of sand and I grab it and I start to pick it up, I'll hold my breath naturally. The body will, like if you're trying to unlock a lug nut from a tire, you'll suck in your air and the body will naturally hold its breath. And that's how you know that you need to do a pure strength breath versus a performance breath. Now, if you're someone who's never done any sort of activity before, you might hold your breath doing a push-up. But you should reduce the stress so you can practice that breathing. But the body will have a way of instinctively telling you what it wants to do. So if you're holding your breath as you pick something up, that's a sign that the load is high enough that you want to do a nice stable breath for strength. And then anything that's light enough to where you can breathe while you're doing it, then you want to breathe according to that activity. In conclusion, breath is very important, and it can make you better at relaxing and stretching. It can make you better at lifting heavy weights if you use it wisely and use it appropriately and practice your breath, because it enhances everything that you do. So, Coach Josh from Training for Warriors Portland, hoping that your breath helps you bring out the warrior within.